Okay, let's unpack this. On August 2nd, 2025, the Senate took a pretty significant vote.
Right.
They confirmed a high-profile and, well, let's be frank, a controversial figure as the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia.
Jeanine Pirro.
Exactly, Jeanine Pirro. It's an appointment that's already sparked a lot of debate. So today, we're doing a deep dive into why this confirmation really matters.
Absolutely. And, to really get why this is such a big deal, you need to understand the sheer power and responsibility that comes with being the U.S. Attorney for D.C.
It's a huge role.
It really is. It touches everything from, major federal crimes right down to the day-to-day enforcement of justice in the Capitol. For this deep dive, we're leaning on a detailed article from Democracy Docket. Our goal is really to get beyond the headlines, look at Pirro's background, the controversies around her nomination, and what this confirmation actually means.
Okay, so let's start maybe with her professional journey. Before the TV fame, she actually had, well, decades of experience in law enforcement.
Yeah, that's true.
Assistant DA, district attorney, even a judge in New York. I mean, that's a pretty solid foundation in the legal system, wouldn't you say?
It's certainly a background, yes. A foundation in the legal profession, but, that's only part of the picture, isn't it?
Right.
For, over a decade before this, she is probably best known as a prominent Fox News host and pundit.
A very different public profile.
Very different. Then President Trump named her the acting U.S. Attorney for D.C. back in May 2025. And that led to her Senate confirmation just now, August 2nd, 2025. The vote was 50-45.
And this is where things really start to get interesting, especially around her history of, well, election denialism regarding the 2020 election. Given that legal background we just talked about, prosecutor, judge, how do those things square with some of the public statements you made?
That's really the core question, isn't it? And it's a key piece of information here. The sources we looked at describe Pirro as, and I'm quoting, one of the network's loudest 2020 election conspiracy cheerleaders.
Loudest cheerleaders.
Wow. Yeah. And what's really striking, this came out during the Dominion Voting Systems lawsuit against Fox.
It's a big defamation case, right?
That's the one. It turns out even her own producers were apparently correcting her on some of these claims behind the scenes.
Her own producers?
Reportedly, yes. I mean, that lawsuit, which Fox settled for, $787 million, it really pulled back the curtain on how widespread some of these narratives were, and this detail about her producers, well, it's significant.
And these weren't just vague comments either. She specifically and baselessly argued that shifts in the vote tally were proof of a conspiracy.
She did.
She actually said on air something like, the Dominion software system has been tagged as one allegedly capable of flipping votes.
Right, that specific claim.
And it wasn't just a slip of the tongue. She apparently repeated those false allegations in a monologue a whole week later. What are the implications there? Someone with her legal background making such specific, unfounded claims.
Well, it definitely raises serious questions, questions about the professional standards we expect from people in high-level legal jobs, especially when the claims attack the very integrity of democratic processes.
Yeah.
This isn't just about having an opinion. It's about making specific, demonstrably false statements from a very public platform.
Okay, so moving on from the media comments. There's another area of concern that came up. Her past comments and maybe a lack of awareness about January 6th and related pardons. This seems particularly relevant now.
It is, absolutely. And there's a real irony here. Earlier this year on her radio show, Pirro actually agreed with a guest who said that January 6th prosecutors should face criminal charges.
She agreed they should face criminal charges?
That's what the source indicates, yes. And now, as the U.S. Attorney for D.C., she'll be managing many of those exact same prosecutors.
Wow. That immediately raises questions about, well, impartiality, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And just the basic functioning of the office.
For sure. And then there's this other point. In her written answers to the Senate Judiciary Committee, these are sworn statements where nominees detail their backgrounds and views.
Right, the questionnaires.
Yeah.
Crucial documents.
Exactly. Pirro stated she was unaware that President Trump had given full pardons to January 6th rioters, specifically ones convicted of assaulting police officers.
Unaware? Is that plausible for someone at her level, especially given the job she was going for? These were pretty high-profile pardons.
Well, it's hard to say definitively what someone is or isn't aware of, but the context is important. We're talking about roughly 600 January 6th defendants charged just with assaulting or obstructing law enforcement.
600.
Yeah. The pardons were widely reported, very controversial. For someone stepping into a role overseeing the remaining January 6 cases, and with her media background, that stated unawareness is certainly notable. It makes you wonder how it might affect the office's future work on these sensitive cases.
Unsurprisingly, then, she faced some serious opposition during confirmation. Democratic Representative Jamie Raskin was particularly outspoken. What were his main points?
Raskin wrote a pretty forceful letter to Senate leaders urging them to reject her nomination. He didn't mince words.
Okay.
He stated, and again I'm quoting here, that Pirro, quote, has made clear that her personal loyalty to Donald Trump overrides whatever commitment she has to the Constitution, the rule of law, the truth, and the facts.
It's a strong statement.
Very strong. And he went further. He claimed that during Trump's first term, Pirro had pushed Trump to pursue political opponents, naming Hillary Clinton specifically.
So he was suggesting she wouldn't just go along with using the justice system for political ends, but actually encourage it.
Exactly. He used the phrase weaponization of federal law enforcement. For listeners who might not know, that term refers to allegedly misusing legal powers to target political enemies instead of seeking impartial justice. Raskin was essentially arguing her past actions showed she'd promote that kind of approach.
So, okay, strong objections from Raskin and others.
Yeah.
How did Senate Republicans respond? Particularly someone like, say, Senator Thom Tillis. He'd taken a different stance on January 6th related things before, right?
Right. That's where it gets politically interesting.
Yeah.
Senate Republicans were, as the source described it, undeterred by all this, the election denialism Raskin's concerned.
Undeterred.
And the fascinating part, kind of a political paradox, involves Senator Tillis. He had actually opposed Trump's first pick for this same job, Ed Martin.
Why?
Specifically because Martin had defended the January 6th attacks on the Capitol. Yet Tillis voted yes on Pirro, first in the Judiciary Committee, and then again on the Senate floor.
So he opposed one January 6th defender, but supported Pirro despite her record.
Exactly. It raises some really interesting questions, doesn't it? Does this show maybe a shift in how the Republican Party views January 6th? Or perhaps it highlights the immense political pressure for party loyalty, even if it means contradicting past positions. It's kind of a snapshot of these bigger shifts.
And zooming out a bit, it sounds like Pirro's appointment isn't just a one-off thing. It's part of a bigger pattern the sources point to.
That's a really critical point. According to a Newsweek tally mentioned in our source material, Pirro is actually the 23rd current or former Fox News host nominated by Trump this year.
23rd.
23rd, for various positions in his second administration. This isn't just, a random collection of names. It seems to signal a strategic approach to filling high-level government jobs.
What kind of approach?
Well, it makes you ask, what are the criteria now for these appointments? Is media loyalty becoming more important than, say, traditional government experience or maybe even established legal norms? It suggests perhaps a deliberate effort to reshape the federal workforce with figures from a specific media background, and that certainly has potential long-term implications for how government operates and, public trust.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, our listener? We've just done a deep dive into a pretty rapid confirmation of, well, a controversial figure. We looked at her history with election denialism, the serious concerns raised about her commitment to the rule of law.
Right. And the goal here really is just to help you feel informed, equipped to think about the implications of these kinds of federal appointments. Understanding these dynamics is pretty crucial.
Yeah.
Looking at cases like this can really shed light on that complex mix of media influence, political strategy, and ultimately the integrity of our justice system. We hope this deep dive helps you connect some of those dots.
So maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. What does this particular confirmation tell us about the criteria being used for top government jobs in today's political climate? And maybe more importantly, what expectations should we as citizens have for impartiality and sticking to legal norms from those holding power?